Phuket might be the best place you've ever lived in. Or it could be the worst financial decision ever. Because here, one person lives on a few bucks a day and the other person is living on a New York penthouse rent price. Today, I'll show you the real price of living in Phuket in the season of 2025-2026. I'm Artem. I've been living in Thailand for a few years and been based in Phuket for more than 3 years. I lived in different neighborhoods, rented out 4 houses already, and I know what neighborhood is best for you. I've seen every possible lifestyle and every possible bill. So in this video, there will be just honest opinion of how much does it cost to live in Phuket now. Most people arrive on Phuket completely unprepared. They don't know what things actually cost. So everything feels either extremely cheap or absurdly expensive. And I know why, because Phuket pricing is very different across the island. And tourist zones create a false feeling that life here is very expensive. And people quite often pick the wrong neighborhood for their lifestyle. Today you will get the full category breakdown and can make the decision fast and without hesitation. Drop a comment below, what's the most ridiculously low cost of living that you've ever heard about the overseas country? So what happens if you don't know the prices? If you don't understand the cost structure, you may overpay for almost everything. For example, you can overpay your rent 2- or 3-fold. You might pay the inflated price for the bike rental in a tourist area. Next place where you overpay is the restaurants in the tourist areas. Just those 3 categories might cost you hundreds of dollars of overpayment every month. Or even trusting the misleading advice could be a disaster for your trip. So pick the trusted advisor. And you know what to do now. Subscribe to the channel. This is very much appreciated. Why do I think that having realistic expectations and budgeting properly is important? Not just because of the bank account, but there are secondary consequences we need to take care of. For example, overspending will create stress, and this can harm your health. Cutting costs in the wrong area may harm your quality of life. Wrong housing affects your sleep, your routine, your productivity. Choosing the wrong area increases commute time. Unplanned expenses destroy your monthly budgets. Tourist prices create an effect of the feeling you are being scammed. And in the end, people leave Phuket with the feeling that it's too expensive. And it's not. The good news is, when you understand the categories and you can break them down easily, Phuket becomes a very predictable place to live and to budget properly. Cost of living is always dependent on your lifestyle. So let's try to break down the main categories of your budget. So I will show you the minimal option and the maximum option. And also I will share how much do my household spend against each of the categories. Let's start from the accommodation. This is the biggest variable. One of my friends used to rent a nice studio for $250 inland, not on the beach, and it was quite nice. At the same time, another friend of mine is renting a huge pool villa close to Bang Tao Beach, which is the most luxurious neighborhood, and he pays $8,000 a month on a long-term contract. The same villa for the high season will cost you around $35,000 a month. So when it comes to an average, a nice studio in a good location will cut your budget by $600-700 a month. A nice villa or a nice house could be around $1,500 to $2,000. As for me, we used to rent a 3-bedroom, 2-story house near the international school, and it was 50,000 baht, which is around $1,600 a month. Now we moved to a more quiet area and we rent still a 3-bedroom house, and we pay just slightly north of $1,000. So actually I made a short video tour of my current house. You can check it here. It's a nice little neat house. We love it. On top of the absolute price tag of your monthly rent, you need to consider few things. First, utility bills. So electricity and water usually are not included. And while water is a Mickey Mouse number, so it's like $5 or $10 a month, electricity may climb very high. But on average, for our household, with working from home environment, quite a big chunk of the time, so air conditioner is on almost 24/7, we pay between $100-150 a month. But if you go crazy, if you have a huge villa, if you don't switch off AC in any of the rooms, you can get $400, $500, $600, $700 just for the electricity. So pay attention to that. Then internet might be not included. It's not that expensive, so usually I would say it's between $15 and $30, and the internet speeds here on the island are just amazing. And the most important thing is if you rent a house or an apartment, most likely you will need to pay a deposit. So for our house, we paid 2-month deposit, and we will get it only when we leave the house, when the contract ends, or when we just want to switch places. So be ready for your cash flow to go a little bit thinner when you rent out for the first time. Pro tip, when you rent, most likely you will go to the Airbnb platform. You can do that, but my suggestion is to go to a local agents or local platforms or Facebook Marketplace. That's the most popular platform for finding the right accommodation that locals use. And Airbnb is way more expensive than the Facebook Marketplace, so check it out. As we all know, Phuket is a tourist destination, and we do have a peak season, which is the highest season is between December and February. So if you come for the peak season, the prices might be 4-5 times more expensive for the same accommodation that you might get in June, let's say, or August. So if you're about to rent long-term, you may want to do that after the high season. So May, June, July, the best time to find the perfect accommodation and rent it long-term. If such a breakdown helps you understand Phuket pricing more, I appreciate if you can click the like button and subscribe to the channel. This really helps our channel grow. We are small and we want to grow big. Thank you, Kapun Krap. We discussed accommodation, now it's time to discuss food. Who here doesn't love Thai food? I love it. That's one of the best cuisine out there. And frankly speaking, food here can be both very affordable and quite a pricey thing. So if you go to a very local place where locals go for breakfast or for lunch, usually meal for one is around 60 baht, that's less than $2. So when me and my wife, we go to some very local place, we spend around 200 baht, which is $7, that's a meal for 2 persons. So if we climb the ladder to a more premium Thai restaurant, but that's just an average place, average restaurant, I would say that the main course will be between 150 and 250 Thai baht, which is 5 to 7 or 8 US dollars. Also quite affordable if we compare it to, let's say, Sydney, Singapore, London, Paris, or Miami. So still a good choice. At the same time, Western food is way more expensive. So you can't find anything for $2 or $3 when it comes to the Western food. So if you want something, some meal that your grandma used to cook, you will need to pay the price. Still, it's quite affordable, and if we don't get crazy, I would say that, let's say, breakfast in a westernized cafes or a meal plus a coffee will be around, let's say, $15, $10 to $15. The more premium venues for breakfast will be maybe $20, $25 per person. And of course, when we're discussing Phuket, where we have so many 5-star amenities, there are a lot of expensive, luxurious restaurants. And there, the price tag can go to whatever number you can imagine, especially if you enjoy some of the fine wines, which are quite expensive here, comparing to a wine-growing countries out there. What you can also use, and we use it almost every day, is food delivery. It works really well here. It's quite cheap, so the delivery is either free or $1 to $3 maximum, and you can order both food from the restaurants and the groceries. When it comes to cooking at home, you also have different options for the different budgets. You have premium supermarkets, you have more like local supermarkets, and also you have local fresh markets. So local fresh markets are usually the most affordable option. Some people don't like to go there because they feel it's not sanitary safe. But to be frank, we almost always buy groceries on the local markets, never experienced any problems or any food poisonings. The price tag for supermarkets, expensive supermarkets, and local fresh markets is very different. So we have a household of 2, and if I go to a fresh market and I buy everything for 1 week, usually I spend between 1,000 and 1,500 Thai baht, which is $30 to $50 really. And this is the groceries for the whole week for 2 people. 2 people. I sound very, very Thai right now because we used to say that 1 people, 2 people, 3 people, also a nice touch to Thai living. So $30 to $50, not much. Of course, you can't really buy cheese or milk or Western produce. So that's mainly fruits, vegetables, chicken, fish, pork, beef. So if you go to a local supermarket, you will spend, I would say, 20-30% more, but you have a bigger choice. You can also buy some pantry items, some pasta, some rice, tuna, ketchup, mustard. Those type of things usually are not present on the local markets. And then you can go to very premium supermarkets and spend whatever number you want to spend on Wagyu or expensive wines or expensive French cheeses, etc. But there you can buy anything. So for the fresh market, you better ask your landlord, which is the closest one and the nicest one. For the local supermarkets, I would suggest go into Lotus. And for the expensive supermarkets, I would say that the most expensive is Villa Market. It's a very nice experience if you go there. Also, Top's Food Hall is an option and is also a very nice venue to buy groceries. On top of that, you have 7-Elevens on every corner or something similar to that, but that's not really for the grocery shopping. You can buy some Coke, ice cream, water, cigarettes. So this is more like a convenience store. You can't survive on the 7-Eleven inventory. So let's go to the next block, and this is transportation. Transportation is very straightforward on the island. First, there is not much pedestrian infrastructure, and the public transport is a Mickey Mouse transport. So it does exist, but it's not unreliable, but it's just not too often you can see that. So you will need your own transportation, or you can use a taxi, car taxi, or the bike taxi. I actually made a video about the applications you might need in Thailand. I'll put it here, so if you have a chance, please check it. For the transportation, the biggest mean of transport here is, of course, a motorbike. But be sure you have a driving license, because local police will definitely stop you to check that. And always wear a helmet, because that is safety. So as for the motorbike, it's easier to rent it out, and the rentals are almost on every corner. The closer it is to a tourist area or to the beach, the more expensive it is. So if you have a chance to rent in the Phuket Old Town or in some local area, just do it. If you are renting for a week or so, don't waste time of going from your hotel 1 hour drive to a cheap motorbike rental. Just rent near your home, overpay $5, but don't waste time on commuting, spend time on enjoying the island. And of course, during the high season, the prices will go up. But if we are speaking about long-term rentals, it goes from $100 for like a small bike to maybe $300 or $400 for a maxi scooter, for a big bike. If you are renting short-term, usual price in the tourist areas is between $10-15 a day for a nice bike. And please always do check your bike before rentals. So check your brakes, check your accelerator, and ask for the helmet. If you're not comfortable with the bike, and I need to say that bike is much more convenient because the traffic might get crazy, and with the bike you can beat the traffic. With a car, you can be stuck forever. But when it comes to a car, it also comes in a very different sizes and shapes. And you can rent something for $300 a month. So some small Honda or Toyota, 15-20 years old. It will do the job. It will have the air conditioner, but it's just old. Or you can rent BMW X5 for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. So it's up to you and up to your budget. The gasoline prices are, I would say, okay. So 1 liter is around $1. So right now, let's say you don't want to drive on the island. Then you can use a taxi. Again, there are a lot of apps for the taxi, but taxis might get expensive, especially during peak hours, like 6 p.m. at the beach. It's tough to find one, and usually it's 2 or 3 times the price. I would say that the most expensive taxi ride across the island would be around 1,300-1,500 Thai baht, but like shorter rides would be between $10, $15, $20. And I must say that taxis up in Phuket are the most expensive taxis in Thailand. Even Bangkok is much more affordable. When you are on the road, rules and regulations are more or less the same as you are used to. If you ride a bike, always have a helmet on and always have a valid driving license, because local police loves to stop tourists asking for those 2 things. Also, never drink and drive, because not just because they will check, but because it's not safe for you and for those around you. So appreciate if you behave. If you live in a hotel in a tourist area, you might check before booking that a lot of hotels have a transfer or a buggy that can bring you to the beach or to the closest shopping mall and drive you back. So this hotel transfer might be the option for you, and maybe you don't need a bike or even a car. Then let's talk connectivity. So internet here is very stable, maybe not Dubai stable or Singapore stable, but it's a very good experience, for me at least. And mobile plans are also quite straightforward. So of course, when you come with your local SIM card from another country, you can use your roaming, but usually it's quite pricey. So I would suggest two options to you. One is buy an eSIM, for example, Air Allo. I can leave the link in the description. Please do check that. And the second option would be to buy a tourist or local SIM card. You can do it in the airport, or you can do it in any 7-Eleven across the country. And I think Thailand is the second country in the world in terms of number of 7-Elevens available. Usually they have tourist SIM cards when you buy an unlimited mobile internet for, let's say, 7 days, 15 days, 30 days, and etc. And the price would be for 2 weeks, I remember it's around 500 baht, which is $15. Or you can buy a SIM card which doesn't say tourist SIM card. Usually they are much more cheap. And last time my mother-in-law came, I bought her one for a week for 49 baht, which is less than $1.50. If you go to buy a tourist or this local SIM card to 7-Eleven or any other place, don't forget your ID, because it's required to buy the SIM card. As for the Wi-Fi, all apartments usually have Wi-Fi. Newly built apartments have a very fast, lightning-fast Wi-Fi. All the places like coffee shops, restaurants, shopping malls, you can find Wi-Fi everywhere. Then visa and insurance. Those are important parts that a lot of people quite often overlook. And if you don't get it right, it might get very, very expensive. As for the visas, also I made a separate video. Check it here. If you're coming for a couple of weeks or even a couple of months, the easiest way for you is just a stamp on arrival, so you really don't need a visa. But if you want to stay longer, sort that out. And long-term visas start at around $300 for the digital visa, DTV, and can go up to dozens of thousands of dollars for elite visa for 20 years, which is, by the way, by invitation only. If you're coming short-term, you can ask your travel agent or your local bank or your own insurance company back home about the international traveler insurance. That would be the easiest option. But if you come long-term, it's better to buy a local insurance, which is much more convenient way of dealing with the healthcare. If you come long-term, it's better to explore local insurances. Me and my wife, we pay for the local insurance around 25 to 30,000 Thai baht every year. The local insurance covers everything except some ad hoc regular visits. So for example, if you have a back pain or anything like that, you go to a hospital, the hospital prescribes you with something, this and this and that, and you go home, you will need to pay for this visit. Usually, such a visit is around $100. But if something bad happens, you got in an accident, they found some severe illness, right, that needs like a proper treatment. These things are covered in 100%, but make sure to discuss that with the insurance agent. And now let's discuss some extra costs you may come across. If your apartment doesn't have a washing machine, you will go to the local laundry, which are also almost on every corner. Laundry is around 50, 60, 70 baht, so around $2 per use. Coffee in a good coffee shop is around $250. Maybe a gym membership for a good, nice gym is around $100 a month. If you go to some fancy Muay Thai school, and this is a very nice experience, by the way, then you might pay up to $350, $100 per month. If you have some cleaning services coming to your apartment, we pay around $25 for one-time cleaning of the house, 3 bedrooms. Of course, if you want to go to some tourist activities, we have plenty of them. The options for you are almost limitless. But for a very nice experience with transfer included, with all the tickets included, and for you to have a really good time, I would say that $50 to $100 per person is a very good budget for those activities. I just have one ask for you. If you go to an elephant center, make sure that's a good elephant center, where the elephants are not in chains, where they don't beat them, where they don't ride them. And unfortunately, there are such centers, and this is very bad for the elephants. So make sure it's an elephant sanctuary. Usually you can tell it by the Google Maps. Good sanctuaries have the rating of 4.8, 4.9, and those where elephants are not treated well will go with 2.5, 3, 3.5, etc. Make sure to go to the good ones, don't support the elephant torturers. So Phuket can be different for everyone. You can have a very budget-friendly life here, or you can live as a king. And you can also bathe an elephant. That's important. If you want more real-life breakdowns about living in Thailand, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It's free and it's also very much helps us to grow. Thank you very, very much. So make sure to check those videos. YouTube thinks this is important for you, and I'll see you in the next one.